Hi Brainbox, welcome to Brainbox YouTube channel. In this video, we will delve into commas and the proper usage. In what particular ways can we use a comma in a sentence? Just keep watching to learn. Once again, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, hit like, and click the notification bell to keep you posted for more review topics. You can also avail of our CSE books and other reviewers. Just click the link to our shop in the caption below. How are commas used in a sentence? Commas help provide clarity and structure to sentences by indicating pauses, separating elements, and clarifying relationships between different parts of the sentence. However, it's important to use commas appropriately and not overuse them, as misuse can lead to confusion or alter the intended meaning of a sentence. Certainly, our comma is used in various ways in writing. Here are some common uses of commas. We use commas to separate words and phrases. Take a look at the following examples. She has a small, red car. My friend, Jake, who is a chef, is coming over. Although it rained, the picnic was still enjoyable. We also use commas to separate clauses. When main clauses are separated by and, or, and but, we don't normally use commas to separate them. For example, she enjoys reading books and he loves watching movies. Another example would be, they studied hard but they couldn't pass the exam. In these examples, the coordinating conjunctions, and but, connect main clauses without the use of commas because the clauses are closely related and present similar ideas. However, we use commas to separate clauses of different topics. For example, the weather was perfect, however, they decided to stay indoors. Another example is, the concert was cancelled, so we went out for dinner instead. In these examples, the clauses are separated by commas because they have different topics or provide contrasting information. When a subordinate clause comes before the main clause, we commonly use a comma to separate them. Observe the following examples. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. In this example, the subordinate clause, although it was raining, comes before the main clause. A comma is used to separate the subordinate clause from the main clause. Short sentences, however, do not always require this rule. For example, we walked and talked. In this example, short sentences with coordinating conjunctions that join two closely related actions do not necessarily require a comma. The lack of a comma in these cases maintains a natural flow between the actions. We also use commas when using non-finite comment clauses. Take a look at the following examples. Having finished the assignment, he decided to relax. Walking slowly, she enjoyed the scenery. In these examples, the non-finite clauses, walking slowly, and having finished the assignment, provide additional information about the main clauses. Commas are used to set off these non-finite clauses, separating them from the main clauses and making the sentence structure clear. Non-finite clauses are often used to add descriptive or contextual details to the main clause, and commas help readers understand where these additional details begin and end. Moreover, we use commas to mark non-defining clauses to add extra, non-essential information about the subject. For example, my friend, who is an excellent cook, prepared dinner for us. John's dog, which is a golden retriever, loves to play in the park. Non-defining clauses help provide context or descriptive details, and the use of commas clarifies that the information is additional rather than integral to the sentence's meaning. We also use commas to separate tags and yes/no responses. Refer to the following examples. You're coming to the party, aren't you? She's the new manager, right? In these examples, the tags aren't you, and right, are set off by commas to separate them from yes-no responses. These tags and responses are used to seek confirmation, agreement, or to invite a response from the listener, and they are separated from the main part of the sentence by commas. We also use commas to separate vocatives, discourse markers, and interjections. For example, Mark, please pass me the salt. In this example, Mark is a vocative, which is a name or term used to directly address someone. Commas are used to set off the vocative from the rest of the sentence. In terms of discourse marker, here's an example. Actually, I haven't made up my mind yet. Actually is a discourse marker, which is a word or phrase used to guide the flow of conversation or writing. Commas are used to set off the discourse markers from the rest of the sentence. In terms of using commas with interjections, here's an example. Wow, that was impressive. Wow is an interjection, which is a word that expresses strong emotions, surprise, or other feelings. Commas are used to set off the interjections from the rest of the sentence. Lastly, we use commas to show that a direct speech is following. Observe the following example. She said, "I'll be there soon." And that was pretty much all about commas. Can you think of other ways where we can use a comma apart from what we've learned? Just think about it. In the next video, we will continue our discussion about other punctuations and the proper usage. In the meantime, let us have a little practice exercise to test your understanding of this particular topic. In this practice exercise, you need to correct the following sentences by providing the correct comma placement. You may need to get a piece of paper for you to write your answers. You will be given 15 seconds to correct each item. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Are you ready? For number 1, hoping to catch the bus, she hurried to the bus stop. Where should we put the comma in this sentence? You have 15 seconds to answer. You can pause this video to give you more time to answer. The timer starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is, hoping to catch the bus, she hurried to the bus stop. As you may have noticed, this example involves a non-finite clause. Hoping to catch the bus is the non-finite clause, which provides additional information about the main clause, she hurried to the bus stop. Based on our lesson earlier, we need to put the comma after the non-finite clause to separate it from the main clause. For number 2, the Eiffel Tower, which is located in Paris, is an iconic landmark. Where should we put the comma in this sentence? You have 15 seconds to answer. You can pause this video to give you more time to answer. The timer starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is, the Eiffel Tower, which is located in Paris, is an iconic landmark. As you may have noticed, this example involves a non-defining clause. We also need to set this apart by putting commas in between. The use of commas signifies that the non-defining clause, which is located in Paris, is only an additional information of the subject, rather than integral to the sentence's meaning. For the last item, thank you for your assistance, Doctor. Where should we put the comma in this sentence? You have 15 seconds to answer. You can pause this video to give you more time to answer. The timer starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is, thank you for your assistance, doctor. As you can notice, this example involves the use of a vocative, which is a name used to directly address someone. The doctor is the vocative in the sentence, and we need to separate it from the main clause in order to make the sentence clearer and to follow proper punctuation rules. Alright, that's pretty much it. Did you get all the questions right? If not, you can still repeat this video and learn once again. In the next video, we will continue our topic on colons and semicolons. That's all for today. Share this video for others to learn too. If you want to learn more, you can avail of our CSE books and other reviewers. Just click the link to our shop in the caption below. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.